I have a funny story. It's a true story. It happened to me last night and this morning, so it's pretty interesting. Actually, it really starts about 3 or 4 days ago. I heard on NPR that doctors no longer did physical exams, and it was causing a lot of issues. And I thought, well, that's kind of silly. They have to do physical exams, and even if they didn't, it really wouldn't affect me because just one of those stories that didn't affect me, I guess. So, as I'm sitting around last night and doing things I could do all the time, I get up and then all of a sudden I feel this pain in my foot. So I'm assuming I hit my foot. So I walk downstairs and I'm playing around with it, and it's like turning all the way at a 90-degree angle to the right. So I'm like, oh my goodness, my foot hurt. I talked to my wife. She's like, hey, you need to go to the hospital. Like, all they're going to do is tape it up. There's no point. She goes, well, you're diabetic. It's smart for you to go to the hospital. It has to do with your feet. So I'm like, I really don't want to go, And then all of a sudden, my toes hurting. And I'm thinking, I better go. I thought about it again. So, okay, no problem. You don't have to tell me twice. I'm going to the hospital. So as I go to the hospital, I'm thinking, all right, you know what? I don't want to go to the doctor's office because he's just going to send me to or an orthopedic doctor. I can go to this Express Care. They'll get me in. They'll do my X-ray, and then I'm in and out. So I get there, and then all of a sudden, the people are sitting me down, and they're talking to me, asking questions. So, what did you hit? And I'm like, I have no clue. I could have hit anything in my room. I'm really not 100% sure what happened. I didn't even notice it until I got downstairs. But I always bump this little metal thing I have, so that's 9 times out of 10 what probably happened. And so all of a sudden, the doctor comes in, and he asks me the same thing. I give him the same answer, and he looks at it. He doesn't touch it. He just looks at it. And, he knows I'm diabetic. He says, it's an infection. Like, what do you mean it's an infection? Because it must be an infection. You don't remember bumping it. And toes just don't break on their own. I said, well, yeah, you're probably right. But they don't bend 90 degrees on their own either. And so he's like, nope, sorry. It's like, don't you want to at least feel it? I mean, there's a crack right here. I can feel it cracking in my fingers. He's like, no. So, well, do you want to do an x-ray? Nope, not going to do an expensive x-ray when I already know it's an infection. I'm thinking to myself, hey, hello, I'm paying the bill here. And so the guy's just a big jerk, and I'm thinking, wow. And I'm like, hey, it's my toe. My toe's broken. He doesn't pay any attention to me. People find out that they check my blood sugar as just this thing. All of a sudden, it's a little bit higher than what it should be. And he says, oh, your blood sugar's just over what I can treat you. So you have to go to the emergency room. And I'm like, really? The emergency room? It's like, yep, sorry, I can't treat you here. You're just going to have to walk right across the parking lot and go to the emergency room. And I'm mad, right? Because I'm like, so am I going to get charged for this? I'm like, of course. So wait a minute, you can't treat me. You won't give me x-rays. You don't even touch me. And basically that's the way it is. So what did I do? Basically say, hey, you got to go across the street. I'm confused. I have no clue what's going on. Next thing you know, bam. They're walking me across the street to the emergency room at the hospital. So again, I'm hurting. I'm limping. My toes hurting. But I make it over there. I'm a good guy, so I move on. So I get over to that doctor. There's another MD. He's a pretty sharp guy. He sees I'm confused. He sees I'm hurting. He says, what's going on? I tell him the exact same story. You know what he says? No problem. They take me in to one of the emergency room beds. They get me an x-ray. They bring it right in. X-ray my toe in 3 different places. The doctor comes in, reads the x-ray, and he says to me, your toe's broken. I'm like, okay, thank you. So he bandages it up, wraps it up. And I'm like, okay, he wraps it up. No big deal. And I'm a happy camper. So he wraps it up for me. And he basically sends me on my way. And so the whole time I couldn't help, he does me right, And at the same time, he gives me some medicine. And I'm like, okay, thank you, doc. You're a good guy. And I'm out the door, and I'm on my way back home. And right as I'm getting out of the house, getting out of the car, get to the house, I'm thinking, what just happened? Is that even possible? I mean, this doctor, because he didn't want to touch me, could have completely misdiagnosed me. And if you think about it, that's pretty scary. What if the guy would have put me on antibiotics? What if that actually had broken some skin, and I could have got gangrene. I could have got anything. So I was just really confused. And what the scary part is, I'm gonna get double billed for seeing two doctors, where one didn't even touch me, wouldn't even talk to me barely. So anyway, I just thought that was interesting. Just thought you guys should know. All right, have a great night. Bye.